Welcome back to Contemporary Black Voices. We're having an amazing discussion going on, even off camera, with Dr. Lulu. Dr. Lulu, I know that Fred had a question for you.
Yes, this has nothing to do with the subject matter today, but when you said something, it struck me. You said that you pay deference and respect to your father, and then you talked about the importance of the elders. And I'd like you to address that in terms of how we've lost that as blacks in America. We don't do that. And that might have been one of the things that we lost in the slave trade.
On the water, yeah.
We may have lost that, and we don't seem to be able to get it back. Could you address that?
I think I would say you don't do it enough. I'm not going to say you don't do it.
Okay.
I think there's enough reverence for parents, period. It's the patriarchy, obviously. In Nigeria, it's a male-dominated country. For instance, just something as simple as my name. My name is Uchenna. Uchenna means God's will. And the story is that I was born and they wanted a boy. It's an African tradition. You want to have a firstborn child, they want it to be a male. So when I was born, they were like, well, I guess it's a girl, so it's God's will, right? Check this out, though. When my brother came after me, his name is Ifanacho. His name means the child that we are looking for. The child that we desire. We don't like, this is how we name kids. You don't just name a random Shaniqua. No, it's a declaration, it's a statement of fact. This child is the child that we desire. So I'm like, what am I? Chopped liver,
right?
You know. However, I mean, I tell my parents that we laugh about it, we joke about, but it's true. It rings true. It's the patriarchy. So yeah, we definitely respect our elders. We respect our parents, father, mother, same thing. And I think maybe we don't do it as much here. But out of empathy in my heart, I'll say what y'all were going through is survival.
Yes.
You needed to survive. It wasn't time to be like, okay, where's my father? Let me go back. We need to survive. We need to underground railway. We need to get out of here. It was a different fight.
It was.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
So getting us back on topic, Governor Greg Abbott, he signed into legislation a bill, anti-gender affirming care, whereby in the bill, it was a bill that gender affirming care could not be given to minors, and he also wanted it to be done, do a reversal of any treatment that a minor would be receiving during this care. So could you explain the medical implications of that reversal?
I love this question. First of all, I testified at the Capitol that day.
Okay.
I know a lot of times people don't realize that I'm usually the one Black person there, because I happen to also be a pediatrician, so they call me a lot to testify at the Capitol. So I stay there. One of these days I'm going to get arrested because I'll be saying some stuff. But the problem is Greg Abbott, amongst many, many people, have half of the information or no information at all. Statistics show that up to 60% of regular adults do not know one transgender person. So I'm going to ask, just to see, just by way of asking, in the room, how many of y'all know any transgender person?
One.
One.
I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
One.
So about maybe, in this case, 33%. And the study says up to 60%. So the study is correct, right?
Yeah.
So if you don't know somebody, it is harder to identify with their fight. Straight up. We're talking about Ukraine off the camera. I don't know any Ukrainians. But as soon as I know a Ukrainian, I'll lean in. Wait, my neighbor is Ukrainian. What are you saying about Ukrainians, right? You know one trans person, you know one. I gave birth to one, right? So my need to represent trans people right away goes up to the top because I'm a child's mother. And you know what a mama bear would do, right? So going back to your question, what Greg Abbott doesn't know is that majority of minors do not want gender affirming care. They want something called social transition, which means my name is no longer Susan, is now Sandro. I'm just gonna put it, Sandro is a male name. versus Sandra, for instance, right? Maybe that my pronouns are he, him. Maybe that's all they want. Before any child of God gets transgender affirming care, they have to first go to the doctor and another doctor and a psychologist and a therapist and all these questions they have to go through to ask them, are you sure? Make sure that, and when you look at the regret rate, it's 0.1 to 0.3% that regret the surgery. Now check this out. For regular breast augmentation, lip surgery, and all the cosmetic surgery, which is actually gender affirming, by the way, people forget that. Gender affirming means you're going to have surgery that makes you feel like you're right in the skin that you're in. So gender affirming means breast augmentation for cisgender women. 66% regret. Now, nobody's going to tell you that.
Wait a minute, you said 66% of transgender women?
No.
Okay.
66% of people who have regular plastic surgery, anybody,
Okay.
regret it. They say one breast is not good enough, or my lip is 66%.
Okay.
So 2/3 of regular people in Hollywood, let's put it in Hollywood.
That's why Michael Jackson has so many.
Hello, they have regrets. Now, they're not going to tell you that because that's going to make you say, wait, what? They're not going to tell you that. But they'll tell you about 0.1 to 0.3% of trans people regret. That's what they tell you. But when you go back and ask them, they will tell you the reason I regret is because my mom has been on my case since I did that. My church has now turned away from me. My family. So pressure from the outside. Now, what we say is just because somebody regrets their surgery doesn't change the fact that they are still transgender. Because transgender is a mind thing. Your gender, when I wake up in the morning every day, I see a girl all day. I don't know what it's like to see a boy because I don't have that experience. I don't have lived experience. So my question to people is always, if you are not Black, you cannot tell me anything about
being
Black. Because you don't have lived experience. I cannot speak for a trans person. I'll remain a mother of a trans person. I will always come in from that angle. A cisgendered woman who happened to give birth to a trans child. That's my role. That's what God said, I'm going to give you this to do.
How much influence do you think you had over what your child has become?
I wish I had influence. My kid tells me to this day, Mom, I wish you, when I was as transphobic, I was the queen of transphobia, me.
No.
Yes, of course. That's why my kid never told me. She never told me. Her sibling outed her. Yes, I was like, no, not in my house. Even the gay, I was like, because we are socialized to believe that it's either male or female, and that's it. Mind you, I was married to my ex-wife at that time. And I was like, no, you cannot paint your nails. What are you doing painting your nails? I don't want your grandma to come later. I was as transphobic. So my own child says, Mom, our house was extremely transphobic, and that's why I was never going to tell you. But she struggled with suicidal ideation. Once I heard that, I was like, listen, I don't want to bury my child. I don't care who else. What do you need? Now, my ex-husband, is interesting what you said. My ex-husband said the same thing. He said, oh, I made the child gay. When we were still thinking it was gay. But I breastfed each child for 23 months. So I said, what about the other two? If I made the first one gay, what about these two that are as straight as, why didn't I make them gay? Which is one of the big misconceptions, is that the parents make the child gay, or, society makes the child want to be, trans. And the question I always ask is, in today's world, with all of the negative coming at them, do you know anybody who will want to be Black? Let's just start with Black. With all the you know what I mean? So if you don't want to be Black because everybody's anti-Black, imagine you being Black and gay.
Everybody wants to be Black, but they don't want to have the experience of being Black.
Yeah.
Well, I got another question.
Sure.
So
I don't know if I answered the question.
you did. These anti-drag queen laws.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I saw a show on Hulu called The Strobe, And I would encourage anybody who has Hulu to see this show. Something that a lot of people don't realize is that how these drag queens came into play is because they couldn't get jobs, right? So I'm seeing all these Republican governed states anti-drag queening a lot of stuff to where how are these people going to make money? So are these governors inadvertently creating what could be the next level, next homeless group, you know, to where they don't have the money to to sustain themselves?
Is that a question?
Yeah.
Okay. I think we should start from the meaning of drag. Does anybody here know what drag means?
It's just
No.
dressing up.
Drag means dress resembling a girl. Did you know that?
No.
Well, there you go. We
Okay.
learn something new every day.
Yes, ma'am.
All they were doing was dressing resembling a girl. That's the meaning of drag. Now let's go back a little bit. In the ancient times, high heels were worn by which gender?
Female.
No,
Male.
no, the original heels.
Male.
The Alexander, what's his name? The king, the great
Alexander the Great.
was, I don't know, 2 feet tall.
Like Prince.
Thank you. So one of his things was like, I'm gonna be taller than everybody who is my
Right.
subject.
Right.
That's where heels came in. Originally, wigs in the Alexandrian era, go check the history book, were worn by men. That's why in the UK right now, lawyers still wear a wig.
A jacket.
It's coming from there. Let me tell you, pink was originally a male color. Did you know that?
No.
It's when I came to America, I was like, wait, what? What mean my boys need to wear blue? Because we don't have that in my country. What? Just give me that. No, it's a boy. I'm like, wait, what? Go back. It's so interesting looking up history and just knowing. If you now know that heels were originally from men, do you know why men stopped wearing heels?
No.
Even though the Texas Cowboys, they wouldn't tell you that they're wearing heels, but they're wearing heels. So any cowboy boot is heels. Okay. But it stopped because the women discovered heels.
Look, we're running out of time.
Okay, no problem.
But wait a minute. I want to ask you one quick question.
Sure.
Please tell me about marital same-sex people
Okay.
and adopting a child and what your thoughts are on that. We got about a minute.
Oh, I mean, I think everybody should adopt. I mean, I don't know how much time. I mean, I think having a child doesn't make you a parent. Parenting is a deeper thing. That's why, as we brought up earlier on, that's why it takes a community in Black. We still have a little bit of that. We still raise children in communities, in the Black race. We still have communal homes. My grandfather had 8 wives, and all the children were raised by all the wives together. I didn't have one. I had my main grandmother, but I had all the other grandmothers. Now, it was not officially adopted, right? But it tells you that they didn't have to birth those babies to raise those babies. That's one. And then number 2, same gender, most times one of them has the baby. The other one just is married, so they raise the baby together. Then that one puts their name on the birth certificate. Now, when it comes to men, a lot of times they have their eggs carried by a woman. So usually the child is related to one of the parents biologically. But when it comes to adoption, Texas has 45 to 60,000 children on adoption list today. If you're a good person with a good heart, adopt a kid.
With that said, we're going to have to bring it in.
Okay.
Dr. Lulu, we really appreciate you coming out. You've opened my eyes to a lot of information.
Mine as well.
And you may have to come back to give us part 2.
Oh, I'll
part 3.
Just make sure it's
And
not
sorry
the day
about
my
your uncle.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay.
No, thank you all so much.
All righty. This is the end of our segment with Dr. Lulu on contemporary Black voices. And when we come back, we're going to go into hot topics. But before we leave, we want to say thank you to our dictator-in-chief, Carl Booker, who produces this show for us every week. Thank you, Carl.
Thank you, Dr. Lulu, for coming in. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. Can I get up and